Oh, hi, I'm in my mother's basement. But that's normal, ain't it, Norman? Oh, the rain didn't last long, did it? You know what I think? I think we're all in our private traps. People never run away from anything. We scratch and we claw, but only at each other, only at the air. And for all of it, we never budge an inch. Um, Well, anyway, I just wanted to talk about a weird case called Sabia and Lauren, and it's I mean somehow it's connected with like censorship online and stuff as well. I think because I mean it's I haven't looked at the comments from my super experience, but I mean, just what I find ridiculous is just the super low quality of the um the podcast, the internationalist podcast is so bad. It's just unbelievable. And I actually I have this Google Nest Mini at home. I threw a Spotify through my Spotify what do you call it what do you call it in English? Abonnement, conscription. I pay a monthly fee of something like $15 or something, and I have access to all the music, all the albums that exist, in the world. But then when I try to listen to podcasts, then they're like, oh, the Edgar Allan Poe podcast, it's only available for adults and if you have a voice match, or if I try to listen to, horror podcast or something, it's just or Sage of Quay or something. It's just any good podcast is gonna be they're gonna crack down on that like with audiobooks they're gonna go in and burn all the good audiobooks like in Fahrenheit, like in Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit book. Not that I like Ray Bradbury very much, by the way, but uh, anyway, but my point is just the Internationalist podcast is there, that you can listen to. Uh, uh, like these kind of like idiots and psychopaths like Andreas Moss and these kind of like woke idiots, you know SGW, social justice, disgusting, like millennial idiots. I don't know how young Andreas Moss is. He seems like extremely immature and like really a disgusting person. And like if you're like anti-free speech, like these people are, and like Amanda is, like I mean, you can barely like write anything on Reddit without getting it like deleted. Like I got more than 1,000 karma on Reddit anyway, but which is at least some, and like No, but it's just, I mean, these websites are virtually just useless because of censorship. Uh, and the same with YouTube and Facebook and stuff. It's just all over the mainstream internet. It's just this kind of like fascist sci-fi nightmare where they're just, they're burning. Uh, they're essentially like book burners. Like Nazi book burners. They're just like any kind of like human content they're gonna try to destroy. Like if you look at Google Films, it's just completely like decimated from like any kind of like quality or human content, emotional content. It's just uh so so the reason why I give this long introduction to what I was gonna talk about is just like look at the Sabia and Lauren case. Uh, there's just so many weird aspects, I don't mean any disrespect to those people. So, but try and like Google Sabia and Lauren accident or something. Like it's this guy who yeah, and I want to make this short and upload this quickly, so I'm gonna make it short, but it's just a very strange case. There's some very strange contradictions. A lot of huge red flags. And of course, the people are there. It's obvious something happened to the guy. But I just think there's a lot of like huge red flags, like where's his digital footprint before the accident? There's no pictures or images of him, while he was crushed. There's no footage of like how his body looked like before operation. There's just a few photographs from before, like, but none from his childhood or anything, and just contradictory, just the this kind of like typical like retarded mainstream narrative, hysterical, dishonest, like oh, it's so great to not have a dick, like to get your dick amputated is so fucking great, that's science, bro. Don't you do science, bro? We can remove somebody's dick, so so it's but other than that, it's just there's just contradictions, like saying he has loving family, and then he's like, well, I don't have contact with my mother, and my father is too busy with his tattoo shop to appear, to online. So how is that a loving family? My mother's not in my life, he says. That's a loving family. Uh, she's doing her own thing, like. So that's caring and loving, or what? Uh, so yeah, and just also this thing about him being fully conscious. What he said was he got to take a look at his body. That sounds like he was conscious only like for a few moments. So of course, I mean, these idiots can just switch. Psychopaths, they can just switch between, you know, like any kind of like, retarded description of reality, whether it's the fake ass moon landings, or whether it's Brandon Lee, the that for example he was shot by a prop gun, but he fainted. He was conscious. But some guy can get 3/4 of his body destroyed and being fully conscious the whole time. So, but if you get like a little metal inside your stomach, near your stomach area, then you're gonna pass out immediately. Um, uh, yeah. So anyway, look at this Sabia and Lauren case. It's very interesting. Very And also again about censorship, why is YouTube allowing that? Like, I saw there was this other woman. She was like, I'm not allowed to show my prosthetic leg. But why is TikTok and YouTube pushing that narrative? Not narrative, but I just mean why is pushing that story when it's pretty disturbing? Even for me, who's like used to watching gore, it's pretty disturbing to watch that guy. But other people will get their videos like deleted for if there's something like if they show their prosthetic leg or something. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, fuck everything. Yeah, and I just wanted to say just one last thing that if you think you're an anti-natalist or I probably got a lot of like disrespectful comments for my Superbox appearance, and I haven't seen them, but like if you think you're an anti-natalist and you're not a voluntarist, you're not fighting against like other kinds of injustices, like the Rona bullshit and 9/11 and all that like retarded shit. Like you are just a piece of shit. Like I don't see. I mean, don't you see the connection there? That you have to if you want to be honest and get closer to truth, you have to fight against you have to fight against you have to do the mental fight of not only just fighting against not just veganism and internationalism stuff, but also being a voluntarist where you're against uh, state fascism and stuff like that. I mean that just should be obvious.